Tuesday, May 8, 1945 was the day that Germany unconditionally surrendered to the Allied forces, marking the end of World War II in Europe. VE Day. 3 months later, on August 14, 1945, President Truman announced the end of the war in Japan. VJ Day. I'm aware that this is a cocktail channel on YouTube and it's not serious business. And when it comes to cocktails, I gravitate towards the people and then the stories of the people and the events that surround them. When you look back at tiki history, which started in the mid-1930s and takes off through the 30s and the 40s, I can't help but always wonder what it was like during those times for those people. Like, what were their lives like? Trader Vic created the Mai Tai in the summer of 1944, the same summer as D-Day. During the war, the officers from the Alameda Naval Base would frequent Vic's. He had a friend that made cardboard boxes, and they put together a box that would hold 3 bottles of booze. He'd then give those boxes to the naval officers, who would smuggle them onto cargo ships where they'd end up at unofficial Trader Vic's officers' clubs overseas. Vic would even create cocktails named after planes like the PB-2Y Gremlin. In the summer of 1942, Don the Beachcomber was commissioned to the United States Army Air Corps, where he would be known as Captain Beachcomber, with the hyphen and all. Initially, he was tasked with supervising the officers' mess hall at the Santa Ana Army Base in Orange County, and later, the Officers Club at the Carlsbad Army Air Base in New Mexico, where Don was able to land 2 excellent chefs and provide entertainment and atmosphere in the typical Beachcomber style. According to Hawaii Tropical Rum Drinks and Cuisine, Don was later sent to Casablanca, and on the way over, his ship was struck by a German U-boat. He was injured and sent to a hospital in France. Once recovered, he was tasked with setting up rest camps for soldiers in Europe. The idea of these somewhat cushy R&R camps that some would describe as luxurious has always seemed out of place to me. That is until recently, when earlier this year I watched Masters of the Air, the 3rd part of the Band of Brothers trilogy. I was just naive to what the Army Air Corps did during the war. I assumed that serving overseas in the Air Corps was a cushy job. You might live on an army base in England or in the Mediterranean, and even serve alongside celebrities like Captain Clark Gable.
Hello, Captain Gable.
What's this? I thought you were a ball turret gunner.
I thought so too, sir, but I've been grounded.
Oh, your past crept up on you, huh?
Yes, sir. They found I was chef at the Brown Derby in Hollywood, and now they have me in the mess making a cake tonight for the officers' party.
You would perform your missions a couple of times a week, and it would generally only take a few hours. You'd come back to the base, where you'd often find a hot meal, a hot shower, maybe even a bar with beer and entertainment. You even got to sleep in your own bed. But the chances of you coming back from a mission were incredibly slim. The 8th Air Force alone suffered more casualties during the war than the entire Marine Corps, and the 100th Bomb Group, or the Bloody 100th as they would be nicknamed, would suffer casualties at a rate of 77% of their original members. A pretty common term you've probably heard or used before is taking flak, which comes from World War II. In German anti-aircraft cannons called Fliegerabwehrkanonen. It was the extremely traumatic experience that the airmen faced each and every mission. There was an almost certainty of being shot down, injured, or dying, and to some that mindset could be paralyzing as well as contagious. The official term was operational fatigue. Abnormal behavior and the fear of revolt led the Army Air Corps to send the airmen away to what would be nicknamed a flak house, a place to recover that was meant to feel like home and not a hospital. Captain Beachcomber set up rest homes all over Italy. He made sure the men had sheets since the Army would not issue them. He'd send a fleet of fishing boats into the Mediterranean to get fresh fish and was even able to serve the airmen avocado instead of the normal Army chow. All on white tablecloths with fine silver. Don said he would cook meals himself at times. He even returned to his bootlegger days by taking C-47s, sometimes into occupied areas, to procure plane loads of vermouth, scotch, and whiskey. Not cushy, not luxurious, but a necessity. Quite literally, no one else in the world was more suited than Don the Beachcomber to provide this comfort, hospitality, and escapism to those that needed it the most. Don left the Air Corps as a lieutenant colonel in 1946 with a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star. To honor, commemorate, and celebrate those that served, Don created 3 dots and a dash, which is Morse code for the letter V, signifying victory. So there's no real easy segue here into making this cocktail, but to make this cocktail, you'll need Angostura bitters, lime juice, orange juice, honey mix, falernum, allspice dram, an aged rum agricole, and a Demerara rum. And let us not forget the B-29 bomber with Don the Beachcomber's name on it. So let's get started with 1 dash of Angostura bitters, half an ounce of lime juice, half an ounce of orange juice, half an ounce of honey mix, quarter ounce of falernum, quarter ounce of allspice dram, 1.5 ounces of an aged rum agricole, and half an ounce of a Demerara rum. I'm going to serve this in a similar glass that Don would have used back in the 1940s and garnish it with just 3 cherries and a pick. So there you go, 3 dots and a dash from Don the Beachcomber. All right, let's try 3 dots and a dash. I'd be hard-pressed to say anything negative about this drink. We're talking about a drink that Don the Beachcomber created to honor the veterans of World War II, but even so, this is one of my favorite Don the Beachcomber drinks. It just has so many things going on in just such small proportions. You know, you get the lime juice, the orange juice, providing that sweetness and the acidity of the drink. Then the falernum and the honey provide that sort of spice, but even if you're not into orange juice cocktails or honey cocktails, these don't come through as like orange juice and honey forward cocktails. If you notice, I was squeezing out of a little honey bear. That's actually a 50 bricks honey syrup. So I just adjusted honey with water to equal 50 bricks. So I just put it back in that bear for easy use. And then while a rum agricole can often take over a drink, using an aged rum agricole here, it sort of knocks down the intensity of the like fresh grassy taste to it. And then the Demerara just sort of rounds it out. So it's one of the more popular Don the Beachcomber drinks for a very good reason. So there you go, the 3 dots and a dash by Don the Beachcomber. If you enjoyed this video and want to support this channel more, check out the Patreon page. Just give this video a like below, consider subscribing, and otherwise, see you on the next one.